6:48 on your Thursday morning. It's time now for the morning rush. APD is crediting the pretrial detention system for a drop in the number of homicides this year. Homicides in Albuquerque are down 22%, and police say they hope to keep it that way. Around this time last year, Albuquerque saw 105 homicides compared to the 82 so far this year.
Albuquerque police are hoping to crack down even more on street racing. This comes after a recent deadly crash that put the issue back into the spotlight. Police say that a street racing crash on Louisiana killed 2 people, injuring 3 others on October the 8th. Now APD's swing shift motor unit that patrols the streets on Wednesday through Sunday from 4 in the afternoon until 2 in the morning is hoping to expand with a second shift that would cover the remainder of the week.
New Mexicans who are still recovering from the Hermit's Peak Calf Canyon fire are taking the federal government to court. To date, FEMA has distributed about $95 million of the $3.95 billion in compensation funds to structures impacted by the fire. Some fire victims are now taking FEMA to court in a federal lawsuit, saying they also owe them for non-economic damages as well. Erica.
And here's a look at our school day forecast. 52 this morning. You're needing the jackets and layers for now, but by this afternoon it's going to be hot. 82 degrees with sunshine and light winds.
More money will soon be going to the city of Albuquerque's open space program. A new ordinance backed by City Councilor Renee Grout will permanently set aside 3% of every year's GO bond budget for open space. The funding will be used to improve and restore existing facilities, as well as purchase new land for open space.
The nationwide search for superintendent of the state's largest school district is on. APS is hiring search firm McPherson and Jacobson to lead the process to replace current superintendent Scott Elder, who is set to retire at the end of June. The firm says APS is aiming to narrow its candidates to 5 or 6 top choices by the end of January and hopes to have a new superintendent by spring.
Early voting is down this election year. The Bernalillo County Clerk says that out of the 430,000 eligible voters in Bernalillo County, only about a quarter will vote in the local election. The last day to request an absentee ballot is October 24th. Erica.
And here's a look at our threat index. It is 0. We have no threats today. It's just a chilly morning, so layer up.
A fungal plant pathologist from New Mexico State University is looking to stop an all too common disease that's a threat to the state's most iconic crops. The fungus that NMSU researchers are working to develop a cure for causes chili plants to wilt, rot, and eventually die. In some cases, it can force chili farmers to abandon their fields.
A cemetery in southwest Albuquerque will soon be adding more security. This comes after ATV riders were caught on camera taking a joyride through the property. Peter Sanchez, the CEO of the company who owns the Santa Clara Cemetery, says the maintenance crews noticed the tracks on the burial grounds about a month ago and notified BCSO.
Ohio Representative Jim Jordan lost again in the race for House Speaker. A third vote is slated for today, but Jordan has a lot of ground to make up if he expects to win the gavel. If Jordan fails to win another vote, we could see more lawmakers push to give the temporary speaker increased powers so Congress can act. Erica.
And here's a check on traffic. The maps are clear. No accidents or slowdowns to report. Tracker is heading north on I-25 near the Big I. Everything is still moving up to speed.
A young boy in Virginia is doing his part to help make his neighborhood safer. A company is giving away a speed traffic sign that is designed to slow drivers down, prompting neighbors to put together some commercials to try to win one. Stephen Ambrose asked his 3-year-old son, Brooks, to be the star of the commercial for their neighborhood, dressing the young boy as a police officer to remind drivers to slow down.
Time now for the 5 facts.
At number 5, fungal plant pathologists from New Mexico State University are looking to stop a common disease threatening the state's most iconic crops. NMSU professor Sum Sanyago is leading the work behind a new $6 million federal grant researching a pathogen that thrives in moisture. The fungus causes chili plants to wilt, rot, and eventually die. In some cases, it can force chili farmers to abandon their fields. The 4-year project aims to find resistance to the pathogen and creates ways to detect the fungus in soil and water.
At number 4, the nationwide search for a superintendent of the state's largest school district is on. APS is hiring search firm McPherson and Jacobson to lead that process to replace the current superintendent, Scott Elder, who is set to retire at the end of June. Now, the search will include video interviews with applicants, which they're hoping to do in December. The firm says that APS is aiming to narrow its candidates down to 5 or 6, the top choices, rather, by the end of January. The board says that they hope to have a new superintendent by spring so they can begin work on July 1st.
And number 3, it's going to be a cool morning, but a warm afternoon. Temperatures will climb into the 60s by around 10 o'clock. We'll be seeing 70s through the early afternoon and 80s by the late afternoon.
At number 2, New Mexicans who are still recovering from the Hermit's Peak Calf Canyon fire are taking the federal government to court. Congress and the president approved nearly $4 billion for compensation to people impacted by the fire, which started as 2 federal prescribed burns. But some fire victims say it's not enough, and now they're taking FEMA to court in a federal lawsuit. This comes as FEMA only offered compensation for structural damage and not for non-economic damage, like the emotional toll the victims experienced. The suit claims that New Mexico law says victims should be compensated for those non-economic damages. FEMA said that they cannot comment on pending litigation, but did send out videos of claimant testimonials.
And number 1, Albuquerque police are hoping to crack down even more on street racing. This after a recent deadly crash that put the issue in the spotlight. APD's swing shift motor unit that focuses on street racing started 2 years ago with officers patrolling the streets Wednesday through Sunday from 4 p.m. until 2 a.m. Now the unit is hoping to expand with a second shift that would cover the remainder of the week. They are also looking to bring in other units for a major street racing operation in the future. So far this year, APD has issued more than 1,000 citations through their street race tactic plan.